Shalom Akim Shalom. First off, I want to say Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Ba'Shem Rakakadash. I want to send double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to all you Akim out there pushing this word in sincerity and truth. This is the brother Ariella. This lesson I want to just talk about Moses and the captivity of Israel in Egypt and the mindset behind the Most High releasing the Israelites. And, you know, kind of this common thread that we're going through in this kind of captivity today. You know, we read in the scriptures about how the Israelites were held in ancient Egypt for 430 years. And so, you know, today when we mention the transatlantic slave trade, our time here, you know, what led us to be in this captivity here underneath the so-called white man, Esau, the Edomites. And there's so many times where we hear, why don't you guys just get over it? Slavery was a long time ago. Why don't you guys just move on? I didn't have slaves. My parents didn't have slaves. You know, you wasn't in the fields. You didn't serve in captivity. And these are the so-called white Christians, but they never come with that mindset when we read about the Israelites in the Bible. Why didn't the Most High tell Moses, get over it? You know, why didn't the Most High tell the Israelites at that time in Egypt to just get over it? At that time, and I want to read the experience that the Israelites had 400 years previous to Moses coming up was much more hardcore slavery. By the time you get to the time of Moses, the Israelites had pretty much assimilated into Egyptian culture. Why didn't the Most High just tell them to get over it, you know? So this is a graph, you know, I was on the internet and I pulled up because it makes, it kind of, you know, gives you a visual of the understanding. This is why when we have people come up to the camp and they say slavery was a long time ago, and I say how long, they said that's so funny. You know, it was hundreds of years ago. I said, no, dum-dum. It started hundreds of years ago. It started hundreds of years ago. And this timeline gives you a good idea of that progression. You know, we talk about 1619 and the first people coming into Jamestown, Virginia. And here it has 1625, 265 years of slavery leading up into 1865. Then you had 99 years of the segregation, lynching periods. And then so-called freedom for 51 years. You know now... 55 years in since 1964 in the whole civil rights movement. So, you know, our time here in America has been pretty much brutal, a beat down, you know. And so I want to relate that to the experience of the Israelites in the scriptures. So I want to go through a couple of scriptures, talk about this idea, and Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to start off in the very first book, chapter of Exodus. And I'm going to skip down to verse 6. It says, and Joseph died, you know, Joseph being the son of Israel. And Joseph died and all his brethren and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty. And the land was filled with them. This is over in the land of Egypt now, okay? It says, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And we have a similar experience here. The more we were afflicted over the course of this period, the more we grew, you know, changed the game up, adapted, you know, and the people are grieved, which you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? It says, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All the service wherein they made them serve with rigor. Okay? So, when you keep reading, it talks about how the Egyptian king, wanted the midwives to kill the Israelites. And, we have that same thing here. They trying to kill us off in different manner of ways. But the whole point of this is that they served in Egypt. And when you go and you study that time that was served, let me get it, in Acts, I believe it says Acts. Yeah, let's get Acts. Let's read Acts 7 and 6. This is Acts 7 and 6. It says, and the Most High spake on the wise that his seed should sojourn in a strange land. Talking about Egypt. That's what was told to Abraham. And that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil 400 years. Okay? That's the time that we was in Egypt. Okay? And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said the Most High, and after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place. Talking about coming into the land of Canaan. And you skip on down to verse 19. It says that the same dwelt subtly with our kindred and evil entreated our fathers. So they cast out their young children to the end they might not live. Okay? Verse 34 says, and I have seen the affliction of my people which is in Egypt, and I have heard their groaning, and I am coming down to deliver them, and now come I send thee into Egypt. Okay? So the basic point I wanted to highlight was that 400 years that we served during the time of being in Egypt, man. And when you study that course of time, you see that as we came out of the land of Egypt, as we came out of that place, our people was assimilated to Egyptian culture and way and comfort. So it wasn't like the whole time in Egypt it was just, just in the fields picking cotton. There was a course of time where Jake was up in Egypt chilling. Okay, this is Exodus 12 and 40. It says, now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. Okay, and it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even that self same day, it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. Okay, and so we left out of there. And what did Jake start doing when we left Egypt? They began to complain. Why? Because they were assimilated. They were assimilated. Let's read this. This is in Exodus 16 and 1. It says, and they took their journey from Elim. This is when they were leaving out of Egypt. And all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. On the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt, 15th day of the second month, the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, would to the Most High we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the fresh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. So they're in the wilderness complaining because at that time, what? They said they ate bread to the full. They were chilling, just like Jake today. But what did the Most High want? The Most High wanted us to come up out of the land of Egypt. The Most High wanted us to be delivered, although there was so-called civil rights going on in the time of Egypt. Okay? Jake had some type of civil rights during their progression of time in Egypt, but the Most High determined after that 400 years of captivity that he would extract his people. When you read in Numbers, the 11th chapter and 5th verse, it says, we remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely. They were free. So-called free. Right? Just like today. It says the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. You see how people are? But the whole point of this is that you'll have people that say, why don't you just get over it? The Most High didn't get over it during the time of Moses. How much more so today? The Most High didn't get over it, man. Although Jake was in Egypt eating freely of the leeks and the onions and the garlic and the fish and bread, Most High wanted his people out of there. He wanted his chosen people out of there, just like today, man. When you read here in Exodus 5:1, it says, and afterwards Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord power of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. Okay? And Pharaoh said, who is Yahweh? Thou shalt obey his voice to let Israel go. I know not Yahweh, neither will I let Israel go. Okay? And they said, the God of the Hebrews have met with us. Let us go, we pray thee, 3 days' journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto our Lord power, lest he fall upon us with pestilence and with the sword. And so you can keep reading on, but the whole point of this is, after the 400 some years of captivity being in Egypt, Jake up in Egypt, progressing the empire, just like Jake today, progressing this American enterprise. Now there's a voice being called. We're coming out through the voice of the Lord, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and we're telling Pharaoh, hey man, the Most High wants us up out of here. Okay? And notice how many days he gave him. Okay? He said, let us hold, we're going to hold a feast out there, man. Alright, so let me continue on here. This is Psalms chapter 10, verse 2. It says, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. All right, and you know, we see currently they have this new Netflix film about these 5 kids. You know, I forget the name of the movie. They See Us, or Who They See, or something like that. Where Jake complaining about, you know, so-called white man putting Jake in prison unjustly. You know, ain't nothing new. We know the devil's agenda. You know. We're not free. That's what happens. We're not free, bro. That's what happens to you, man. You in captivity. We in captivity. And you know, it's like how people forget. We in captivity. You know? They persecute the poor. Okay? And that's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Right now, you got thousands of them immigrants on the border of Mexico getting their asses kicked. Why? Because Esau don't like you. Okay? This is like the apostles say, we were brought on here on slave ships. We were brought over here on slave ships. Not the Love Boat. Okay? Not some cruise, you know, liner. Don't get it twisted, man. The Israelites during the time of leaving out into the wilderness, they ate of the fish and the leeks and the onions and garlic freely, just like you so-called Negroes do today. But you were still in captivity. The Most High ain't letting it go. Just like he didn't during that time, he ain't in during this time, man. Okay? Psalms 10:3 says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. That's why they say, why don't you guys just let it go? Why don't you just get over it? Okay? They don't seek justice, restitution. Okay? They're not seeking the will of the Heavenly Father. The Most High is not at all in his thoughts. Verse 5 says, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Okay? And the Most High is not at all in this person's thoughts, man. He don't think he's going to go down. The so-called white man and his children, we didn't start slavery. We didn't bring you over on those boats. I had nothing to do with that. You know, that was how Pharaoh was. Okay, he puffed. He's like, who's this guy that would need to let Israel go? You know, I didn't bring them over here. You know, I didn't get this started. We have to remember, man. We have to remember that it wasn't like Israel was in Egypt for, you know, a few years and was in captivity. It was 400 years. 430 years. It was some time. The state of the Israelites was in a state of assimilation. They had assimilated to Egyptian culture. Jake didn't want to leave, but the Most High had determined something else. And those of you who are rebellious against that, the Most High gonna deal with you. Okay? This is Nahum chapter 1 verse 3. It says, "The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and in the clouds are the dust of his feet." Okay? The Most High is not going to acquit the wicked. Justice is going to be brought to the planet Earth. Just like it was brought to the ancient Egyptian empire, it's going to be brought to the spiritual Egypt. You best believe. Ain't going to be no getting away. Lamentations 3:60 says, Thou hast seen all their vengeance and all their imaginations against me. Thou hast heard their reproach, O Lord, and all their imaginations against me. The lips of those that rose up against me, and their device against me all the day. Behold, they're sitting down, they're rising up. I am their music. Render unto them a recompense, O Lord, according to the work of their hands. Give them sorrow of heart, thy curse unto them. Persecute and destroy them in anger from under the heavens of the Lord. Okay? And you're going to see our people that's linked in with Egypt, though join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Everybody's going to receive of their recompense, man. You best believe it. The Most High didn't want Moses to just get over it. And he don't want us even to this day to just get over it. There's a judgment that's been written in the heavens. And it's going to fall down upon this place. Okay? It's going to be brutal. Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 12, it says, "For thus saith the Lord, Behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it." Okay? We were the Most High's firstborn. We read, let me go to it. Exodus chapter 4. Let me see. Exodus chapter 4, verse 20. In verse 21, it says, "And the Lord said unto Moses, When thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all these wonders before Pharaoh." He gave Moses these different miracles to show. It says, "Which I have put in thine hand, but I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, Let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn." Okay? Alright? Hey, you know, we coming into that time where the Most High is getting ready to extract us out of here through the salvation of Yahushua HaMashiach. Okay? We in that let my people go moment. Alright? Most High ain't playing. Alright, we drank, we are surely drunk, and so we know that Esau is going to drink. Alright? Esau is going to drink of this thing, so, you know, was one of the things that I think about when people say, just get over it. Then why didn't Moses, why wasn't Moses told by the Heavenly Father, just get over it? Why wasn't he told that, according to you Edomites, you know, Moses was righteous, and you believe in God, don't you? So why didn't he tell Moses to get over it after 430 years of captivity? No, man. You got to pay. Okay? So when you see Jake out here, and they pretty much assimilated to this culture, and they all into they call themselves American. Ain't nothing new under the sun, man. It was the same way back then. Jake thought they was free. They thought they was free when they was in Egypt. After all that time. But the change is gonna come, man. So I just want to touch on that, man. Lord willing, ever that'll find. Hey, man, call hello, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone. Once again, much peace, love, and salutations to you. I came out there pushing the words of sincerity and truth. Hey, Shalom.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, who are teaching this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim that's out there on the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Bracha the Yahweh, Bracha the Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakadash, Bracha Dub. So, again, they tell us just get over it, or I had nothing to do with that. The so-called white people that are living today had nothing to do with the slave trade and have done nothing to you, right? This is their card argument, right? Oh, okay, so, all right, let's just go ahead and put that in perspective. You say they are innocent. Then what the fuck are you doing in Syria, Yemen, Iraq? What'd you do to those people? Did you really bring peace to them? To Libya? No, man, you went in, you murdered them. You murdered tons of incidents with your drone strikes. What about Ukraine? You murdered people there, What are you doing in Venezuela? What are you doing in Vietnam? What'd you do to the people in Korea? Oh, man, you're the same devil. You bring oppression. And also, the other thing is that the main reason for the wall is to keep people from leaving America. And I know a lot of people say, well, why would anybody want to leave America? You could leave. You either love it or you leave it, right? You have to hear that from these fucking red Hebrew Edomites. Yeah, try leaving America. Say you're the convicted felon. Convicted felons can't leave the state. They can't leave the U.S. So, is this not slavery? Think about it. This is Egypt. And it has been Egypt. It's a place of Sodom in Egypt. You're seeing it all the time. Commercials for more transgender bullshit, all this other things, You cannot transform from one sex to another, but Babylon the Great, America, like to make you believe you can. You could do this, you could sever your own penis, and you could create a vagina, They show you that in South Park way back in its day, the one they call, his teacher, used to play with the puppets, this back when I used to watch it. But, there was a whole thing where he became a transgender and he had a vagina. No, man, that shit, man, and I do say this, okay, it being LGBT month, go ahead, show your pride, go out there, expose yourself, because you know why? It's just getting the Most High more amped up to destroy your ass. Go ahead, you two-thirds. Go ahead, be joined unto them. Because I hate you more than I hate the so-called Edomites. Here it is. We're going out there and we're telling you who your slave masters are, but yet you want to be like them. You want to be just like them. You want to join the military. Well, this is what you fucking military do, man. This is your wars. And most of all, though, you two-thirds, you're helping Esau with his plan. Dumbasses. And, of course, this is coming in from northern Syria in the town of Afran. And, again, this is Gomer and all his bands fighting. So what you do is you arm the terrorist groups so that way you can destroy countries. And you've balkanized Syria. You've gotten it broken up. But you've lost in Syria, so that's why now you're using a false flag.
Tamam. Hadi hadi.
This is what you read Hebrew Edomites bring, and you 2/3 are helping them. Oh, but you had nothing to do with slavery 200 years ago, right? But what is this? You bring war everywhere you go. Death and hell follow you. This is what you do. Wars and rumors of wars. Persia, better known as Iran, categorically rejects U.S. unfounded claim on tanker attacks. So, this is the big thing that's been going on. They're using a false flag, Sea of Oman incident, to blame Iran for it. Iran has rejected as unfounded U.S. claims that it is responsible for the recent attacks on 2 oil tankers in the Sea of Oman, warning of another Iranophobic campaign being waged by Washington and its allies. May as well just say Amalek. The inflammatory remarks by the U.S. representative against Iran at the UN Security Council on 13 June 2019 was another Iranophobic campaign. Iran categorically rejects the U.S. unfounded claim with regard to 13 June oil tanker incidents and condemns it in the strongest possible terms, said the Iranian mission to the UN statement on Thursday. So, and there's more to it. Neither fabrications and disinformation campaigns nor shamelessly blaming others can change the realities. The U.S. and its regional allies must stop warmongering and put an end to mischievous plots as well as false flag operations in the region. And that's what I said. This is a false flag. Warning, once again, about all-out the U.S. coercive, intimidation, and malign behavior. Iran expresses concern over suspicious incidents for the oil tankers that occurred today, the statement added. And, of course, you got fuckface Pompeo, I call him Pompous. You got him blaming him, so let's take a look at that.
U.S. Secretary of State has accused Iran of being behind attacks on 2 tankers in the Sea of Oman.
It is the assessment of the United States government that the Islamic Republic of Iran is responsible for the attacks that occurred in the Gulf.
But never you read Hebrew Edomites, right?
This assessment is based
Mike Pompeo said
you wouldn't be responsible for ISIS now, would you?
He also repeated previous U.S. claims accusing Iran of conducting attacks on 4 ships off the United Arab Emirates last month. Iran has denied any involvement in the attacks, calling them alarming and regrettable.
Media reports say 2 tankers carrying oil and petrochemical products have been targeted by blasts in the Sea of Oman. One of the ships, the Norwegian-owned France Altair, was suspected of being hit by a torpedo. The second tanker, Kokwa Courageous, was alleged to have been damaged by a magnetic mine. Japan's trade ministry says both tankers carried Japan-related cargoes. The crews of both ships were safe. Iran rushed to the assistance of the 2 vessels. It rescued 44 crew members and transferred them to the Jask port in its southern shores. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif described the attacks on the oil tankers as suspicious, as they coincided with Japanese Prime Minister's visit to Tehran. Suspicion doesn't begin to describe what likely transpired this morning, he said on his Twitter account. He also called for regional dialogue to avoid tensions. Political commentators say the attacks look like false flag operations designed to escalate tensions in the region.
This false flag campaign designed to try to increase tensions in the region in order to justify the planned either attack or at least upping the pressure against Iran.
The Thursday's blast happened outside the Strait of Hormuz, the strategic waterway between Iran and Oman, through which around 20% of the entire world's oil is transported. The incident comes a month after 4 commercial vessels were targeted off the Emirati port of Fujairah in the Sea of Oman. But who could be behind the attacks? Who would benefit from a tense region? These are the questions analysts try to answer.
Who benefits from this kind of thing? Well, immediately oil prices jumped 3.5%, so there's all sorts of people benefiting there, including, of course, the Saudis.
Following the Thursday's explosions, oil prices jumped as much as 4%, and all major Persian Gulf stock markets also dropped, recalling how crucial the area remains to global energy supplies.
And as we devils know what you did with the Car Fire, you know, the same that you're doing here in Syria. You're burning all the crops, and you're doing it on purpose to bring in GMOs, you know. And this is the agricultural lands in Syria that are being burned right now by the same terrorists, the same ones that brought you the Car Fire, the same ones that brought you Mendocino Fire, the same ones that brought you the Hearst Fire, the Delta Fire, the Paradise Fire. Do I need to go on? Yeah, the Rothschilds, you know, the Red Childs. But it's still part of the plan of the Almighty, because you have lived deliciously here. You lived off the backs of us who brought it up for you. But now that coin is being flipped, you know, and you Edomites are catching hell. You're the one that's being impoverished with being homeless out of that, and more violence is coming up. Because you can't stand it that America is beginning to look a lot like Aleppo. It's beginning to look a lot like Syria. It's being burned. Your crops are being destroyed by the same empire. And you stupid fucks, you 2/3 want to fight for this bullshit? What the fuck do you got here in America? You gonna go work for Kmart? But I'm supposed to believe, though, that you Edomites are innocent, that you've done nothing, you know, that you don't do anything wrong, that you had nothing to do with what happened. But look at what you're doing in Syria, particularly arming terrorist groups. You are 100% responsible for ISIS in Iraq and Syria. You are 100% responsible for all the death tolls in Yemen and in Libya. And definitely you are responsible for the Car Fire and for everything else. No, man, I know who you are. Your face cannot be hidden anymore. All your lies have been exposed. And all these nations, they fucking hate you. Because you're the terrorist. You're the one that brought terror to the Middle East. To Haman and Arpad. Oh, but I'm supposed to believe it's Bashar al-Assad. Right. But I'm supposed to believe Donald Trump over Rouhani, right? And I'm supposed to believe that, oh, you know, Iran's doing this shit. No, man. It wasn't too long ago, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, and that's what you try to do here. So it's Gulf of Tonkin all over again. You know, pretty much you're the one that arms terrorist groups. You're the one that funds these operations, and we already know what this leads to. But you're going to lose. You come up against Persia, you're going to lose. So bring it on, fucking devil. We can't wait. We can't wait, because we know who benefits from this. Saudi Arabia, which is you Amalekites. Your hegemony is foiled, though. Meanwhile, back in Reading, here's you got fuckface city of fucking Reading fucking with homeless advocate, you know, people that actually want to advocate for the homeless people, you know, because homeless people really don't got a voice here. So here's fucking city of Reading doing their shit, because you know that this place is nothing but fucking wickedness here.
I can film you too all day long. It's cool. It's legal. That's your problem. You don't like someone following you and making sure you're doing things legally. Yeah. You're taking people's possessions and not holding them for 90 days by law as required. And then you're telling me to call the police as you break the law. I don't appreciate that. You're a lawbreaker, cowboy.
Call him.
Yeah, call who?
That I took anybody's stuff?
I have film of you taking it.
Uh-huh.
I do.
Okay.
You don't like that? Lump it.
Sure.
I'm working for Washington attorneys, civil rights attorneys in Washington. I'm not going to call. I realize Roger Moore is corrupt. I realize Roger Moore cannot be depended on to handle everyone's civil rights. I realize he's not going to carry out the law for the homeless, cowboy. I want you to call RPD so I can file a complaint against you because you're some kind of a freak, City of Redding freak. Call him, dickhead.
That's where I teach, by the way.
Call him, cowboy. Call him. Quit following me, Buckwheat.
I don't follow you.
My next
where I work.
My next place is the police station. I'm going to complain to the chief, asshole.
No.
You fucking asshole. I can film you too. You fucking asshole. Don't follow me no more. And you're going to be a video superstar on the internet. See you on the internet.
So pretty much what you got here in Redding is uproars of the people, man. This is a homeless advocate. Well, he's an advocate for the homeless here, and he's speaking against his own government that's doing this, you know, the city of Redding, which are a bunch of fuck-faced dickhead assholes, you know, pretty much. But they're the ones that brought the car fire. Make no mistake about it, because they have a bigger project. You know what that project is? Camp FEMA. Camp FEMA. They're working together. The city of Redding is working together with the police, with pretty much FEMA, to round up the homeless. First, you got to get them to becoming homeless. That's what Car Fire and Hearst Fire, Delta Fire were all about. So that way they can get them all in one bunch so they can fucking destroy them, pretty much. Pretty much round them up. Because the attitude of Redding already for the homeless was already bad. You know, pretty much they blame the homeless for everything that's gone wrong. Oh, it's always the homeless' fault, you know. But pretty much, though, what this is, though, is you can see it, though, uproars of the people. This kingdom is divided against itself, you know, pretty much. Now, we know that World War III is right around the corner. When you're seeing kingdom divided against kingdom, as you can see, though, the people are sick of fucking the government, you know, and you can see that right here, man. You know, this same devil, you know, but make no mistake about it. Eventually, this is not going to be on a voluntary basis, but you can see the popularity right now of getting microchipped, of taking the mark of the beast. You know, we go out there, we tell you that it's the mark of the beast. Y'all want to buck up against it and say the mark of the beast is not the microchip. Then why are they having chipping parties? Well, here's another video another brother put up.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to say, Kala Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem HaKadosh. The ones to the apostles and the elders, great Muslim, we will. Peace, blessings, salutations to the whole elect, to all you brothers out there pushing the word and truth in the city. Shalom to all you brothers, stay strong, keep pushing. Anyways, another day, another lesson. And I want to go into this video I came across, which goes into the RFID chip, which of course is the mark of the beast. And in this particular video, you know, the name of the video first and foremost is called Biohacking on Stage, Live Human Chip Implant Show. Okay, so in this particular video I came across, they were doing a live, you know, a live stream or whatever you want to call it, and they were actually, you know, this individual that you see sitting down in the, you know, right next to the woman, you know, and he's sitting down. he actually, how can I say, he, what's the word? He agreed to, you know, getting chipped, you know, in front of everybody. And you know, this is one of their events that they're actually doing, because these Edomites are actually going to start making a lot of these events happening, you know, throughout America and then throughout the whole world. Of course, they've been doing them, but they're going to, you know, start doing it on a high level. Okay, they're going to start having chip implant events. Okay, they're going to start, you know, if you want to get a chip, come to this event. All right, come to this RFID chip expo located in Las Vegas, which I'm just making that as an example, right? Or come to the biohacking event over here in California, Los Angeles, or whatever, and then, you know, get chipped. You know, they're going to start having all these type of events, you know, here in America, but even throughout the whole world, where they're going to start really spreading that message of the RFID chip. Now, I suggest you brothers watch this because, you know, it's about 25 minutes long. I suggest you brothers watch this because this particular guy right here, this devil, this Edomite devil, he's pretty much trying to, you know, spread a positive light on this RFID chip. Okay, saying how it's gonna help you, how it's gonna, you know, make life better. You know, this is what this devil's saying. Okay, as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and read this is the synopsis of the video. It says, "Time for some biohacking. The future of the human species is here. You join us as we create a human cyborg in front of your eyes." So, you know, they're calling this guy the human cyborg, right? He's their object in this human implant show, right? So they're calling him a cyborg, and this is what these devils want to do. They just want to, you know, they want to become like God, meaning, you know, they're not, you know, Esau's not satisfied with the human body that the Heavenly Father gave him. Now, I don't know, you know, why is that? Well, no, you know what? I know why is that, because he's a fucking devil. He's a piece of shit. Okay, he thinks he knows more than the Heavenly Father, okay? But anyways, it says, we will implant an RFID chip into the hand of a willing subject and test its functionality. We will talk about the future of biohacking and human modification and how this will affect our lives in the long run. What is going on in the world of biohacking right now? What can you do to biohack yourself? What does the future of biohacking entail? Okay, and this is what, alright, and the name, once again, the name of the video is Biohacking on Stage, Live Human Chip Implant Show, and the name of the channel, once again, is Transhumanism Videos, okay, and I suggest you brothers go onto this channel, you know, maybe subscribe to it, which, as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and subscribe, because, you know, I see, you know, in the near future, these devils are going to start pushing that RFID chip heavier and heavier, man. And like I said, they're going to start having events on the RFID chip. Come get your chip. Okay, they're going to start spreading the message, you know, that the RFID chip is something good for the world, something good for human beings and shit like that, you know, which bunch of lies, right? Because that's what the devil does. He deceives. The word devil means deceiver. Okay, and this is what this devil and other devils like him do. They spread false narratives that are about that RFID chip. Okay, that RFID chip, you know, causes cancerous tumors to pop up in your fucking body because your body's fighting that thing that doesn't belong there. Okay, and then, you know, and then all that radiation that comes from that RFID, from that little grain of rice, as they call it, you know, the RFID chip is the size of a grain of rice. Well, guess what? That little grain of rice produces, you know, radiation that causes cancer, man. All right, come on, man. There's been, you know, hundreds of cases regarding the RFID chip where people have gone infected with cancer and shit like that. Okay. But anyways, let me go ahead and play this particular part right here. Let me see where I was at. Just bear with me real quick, brothers. Can't believe I was right here. Okay. So mind you, this was a live event. Okay, this was a live event, and they were actually chipping this individual right here, man. This fucking test dummy. All right, he was nothing but a test dummy, man. He volunteered to be their fucking subject, as they call him. They call him their cyborg subject. So guess what's gonna happen to this guy, man? he's gonna be destroyed. Okay, which I'm gonna go ahead and get 2 scriptures, but for now I'm just let the video play. Can you put the volume a little bit higher?
Let's be honest, this is me just talking a little bit because we're all excited to see this. Oh, we gotta get it specific. Give it a couple moments of silence for the tension to build up, and then I'll let you know. Here we go.
Okay, so
Shit, I'm nervous. You have a drum roll.
Oh yes, but I'm planning it, and I'm working with a friend who's in partnership in Montana, just talking to her now.
okay, so if you notice, he put his right hand on the table, right? Because he's about to get chipped. His right hand specifically. Now, even if you take the chip in, in your left arm, in your chest, or even if you get a chip, implanted in your brain, that's still you taking the mark of the beast. Okay, so don't be stupid. Don't be a smartass. Okay. And if you want to try it, I wouldn't suggest it. But if you do, man, you're testing your own luck, man. You're testing your own fate. Okay, because you might have a lot of stupid ass fucking people out there that know they're Israelites. They might say, well, the Bible does say the right hand, right, or the forehead. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this chip on my left hand and nothing's gonna happen. There's gonna be some smart ass individuals like that. And if I was you, I wouldn't even test that. I wouldn't even test the Heavenly Father, man. Okay, the RFID chip is a mark of the beast. That's all there is to it. Whether you take it on your fucking kneecap, whether you take it on your fucking toe, it don't matter. On your butt cheek, as the Elder Pastor always says. Hey, the RFID chip is still the mark of the beast at the end of the day. But anyways, as I showed you in that video, he put his right hand on the table, right, getting ready to take the chip. So this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand. Okay, to receive a mark in their right hand. Now, what was the first body part that he put on the table to get ready to be chipped? Was his right hand. And this is what, the prophets were seeing. This is what John, the Apostle John was seeing when he was enslaved in the island of Patmos, when he was held captive. The Heavenly Father actually gave him visions like this dumbass individual, putting his right hand on the table and getting a chip. Okay, the Apostle John saw this, a couple thousands of years ago. Okay, individuals going to events like this one and getting chipped. Okay, individuals having chipping parties and shit like that. And he even saw, people being forced to get chipped. Okay, being taken to those FEMA camps. Okay, some of you shall be cast into prison. Okay, and then guess what? Right there, Esau's going to give you an ultimatum. You either take this RFID chip, and then you live. And if you don't take this RFID chip, you die. You get your head cut off. And John the Revelator saw even some of the men of the Lord being beheaded. Okay, for the witness of Yahweh's testimony, and for not taking the mark of the beast. Okay, John the Revelator saw this. Alright? He saw this vision of people taking this RFID chip, this mark of the beast. And that's what he called it. He called it the mark of the beast. Okay? So going back once again, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, okay? But the key point was the right hand. But what, like I said, once again, you don't want to test your luck, man. All right, don't be acting like a fucking smartass and think you could get one off on the Heavenly Father and put a chip on your left hand and you think you're gonna slide off. Fuck no. Okay, ain't gonna be no man on a chariot. Okay, but with the goddamn mark, with the mark of the beast, and in their left hand, on their kneecap, and their thigh. Okay, in their forehead, in their brain. Okay, there's not gonna be one of the whole full leg, and in the chariot with the RFID chip. Okay, with the mark of the beast, man. Okay, and I'm 100% sure about that. So here we go. Continuing on.
What to do, what I'm going to choose to have, what data put a hold on it. Yes. So
what would be the first thing that you would put on it?
I'd like to get over this constant keying in codes. Just quickly being able to open further
with this fucking Edomite witch, and she looks like a fucking witch. Now that I'm looking at it, you know, this Edomite, you know, demon, this Edomite bitch looks like a witch, man. Now that I'm looking at it, because guess what? A lot of these people that are pushing that issue, that RFID chip issue heavy, a lot of them people are really into witchcraft. They worship Satan. They're into Satanism. They're into the cultic side. Really, you know, that whole left-hand side energy. Okay, because guess what? A lot of these people, like I said, that are pushing this RFID chip, they know that this is something wrong. They know what's behind this RFID chip. It's nothing but sinister shit going on. Okay, they know that the Rothschilds are actually trying to implant and other Edomite devils on a high level trying to implant people with these RFID chips so they can keep tabs on them, so they can spy on them. Okay, so they can, you know, pretty much what you do with the cattle, what you do with you know, some of your livestock, you put a brand on them, right? So you know that they're part of your, you know, they're yours, right? You own them, and this is what it's all about. It's all about ownership. Okay, and then, so they can, you know, watch over their flock. Okay, because they do call us cattle, right? They call us, you know, they call us all types of shit, you know. But like I said, she kind of looks like a goddamn witch, man. Now that I'm looking at it, like I said, a lot of these people that are pushing that RFID chip, they're witches, they're warlocks. Okay, they're all into that left-hand side energy, man. Salaki, I also wanted to make a different point, because she said that, you know, she brought up the whole diabetes, right? And this is another, you know, another so-called positive thing that this RFID chip can help you with. It can help you with if you have high blood pressure, it'll let you know. If you have diabetes, and it'll help you with your different diseases and all, you know, all that other fucking bullshit, that madness. And people are gonna fall for the okie dokie, man. You know, they're gonna fall for this fucking dumb shit, man. You know, hey, remember, Esau's words are smoother than butter. You know, Esau used these big words, like these eloquent words. Yeah, you know, it'll help you with this, and you know, come on, man. And people are gonna eat that shit right up. But the scriptures clearly says never trust an enemy. Okay, never trust an enemy, for as iron rusts, so does his wickedness, man. So you're not supposed to, whatever comes out of these Edomites' mouth, you're you know, take it with a grain of salt, man. Don't fucking believe what they say, nothing, none at all, man. Even if they tell you hi, how you doing, don't believe that shit, because they don't mean it, man. You know, they don't even want to talk to you, but for just for the sake of it, they want to look like these good people, you know, these goodwill people, and they'll come up to you and how's your day? How you doing? Hi, you know, don't even believe in that shit, man, because they don't care for your well-being. Alright, it's all a fucking facade with these goddamn devils, man. They're fake and they're phony. They know how to hide this shit. Okay, they try to play, you know, like they love us and they want to be for us. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they don't fucking love us, man. They hate our guts. Okay, as a matter of fact, you know, I know I'm going off topic, but that's the spirit, man. Let me go ahead and get a scripture. These Edomites, they have no love for us, man. Okay, you know, there's no love lost with these fucking devils. Even though they try to portray like they care for us and they want to be for us, they want to help us out. A lot of these fucking new up and coming, you know, presidential candidates. Yes, we want to help, you know, so-called Negroes. You know, we want to, you know, slavery. What do you call it? You know, help out with the slavery. You know, whatever happened to us, you know, in slavery and so on and so forth. They want to, give back for that. You know, fucking, it's all lies and bullshit, man. But anyways, let me get the scripture that I wanted to get. So even a little hi, hello, how you doing? Don't even believe that when it comes from an Edomite, man. Now, of course, you gotta play along with it, right? You can't be like, man, fuck you, stupid. Because remember, the Lord said, you know, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. But, you know, of course, within your mind and within your spirit, you're like, this fucking devil, man. I still don't believe your ass, you know. Even with the little hi, hello, welcome, and all that, you know, you'll say, oh, hi, you know, you play along with it, right? You know, but you gotta be wise as a serpent. And even, you know, just like an Edomite thinks within himself, like, this fucking nigga, this baker, this Uncle Tomahawk, That's how, you know, the man of the Lord is supposed to be too. Within your mind, when you're playing along with this fucking devil, playing chess with this devil, you know, you also in your mind, you gotta be like, you fucking need him, I can't wait to have you in slavery, you know? But anyways, this is the book of Psalms 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Most High, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And this is what these Edomites did. Now, of course, some other heathen did that too, but these Edomites, you know, did it on a different level, man. They stepped up their game when it came to fucking with us, man. When it came to fucking with the children of Israel, the children of the Heavenly Father. Okay, they totally went overboard when it came to them doing all types of wicked and ill will towards us. All right, they went overboard, man. All right, so don't trust these Edomites, man. Okay, don't even trust the little hello or welcome or hi, how you doing? Don't even trust that. But of course, play along with them fucking devils, you know. For verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom. Okay. Now, why was Edom the first one named? Because these were the people that were spearheading the whole downfall of our people. It was Esau. Esau was the key player behind our people's downfall. The key player behind our people's destruction was these fucking Edomites, these devils. Okay? And we already know who Esau is, okay? I don't even have to say it, man. We already know who Edom is, okay? The cat is out the bag. We know who you devils are, who you Edomites are, man. Okay? Now, the scriptures clearly, you know, the first name being called out was a fucking Edomite, man. Esau. But anyways, wait, let me see. Okay, going back to the video.
This is something more creative to do too. There are people using chips to make music in the air. There are people using chips to feel earthquakes around the world, to feel weather coming.
Wow. So this Edomite witch is saying that even the chip, you know, it'll help you. You know, it'll help you know when an earthquake is coming. It'll help you know when you know different storms are coming. Look, let me go ahead and play it back if you don't really hear it. Check this out.
Creative to do too. There are people using chips to make music in the air. There are people using chips to feel earthquakes around the world.
You see, people will be able to use chips to fuel earthquakes around the world.
To feel weather coming.
To feel weather coming.
We are very creative, wonderful individual. It is.
Wow, very creative, wonderful, and you see how she's speaking very smoothly. Very wonderful, creative, fucking devils, man. Man, whew. Hey, I can't wait. I know the you know, brothers out there can't wait to we fucking put a stomping on these fucking Edomites, man. You know, do the James Brown on these fucking Edomites. Stomp them the fuck out, man. Hey, we're gonna be doing more than stomping Edomites out, man. We're gonna be using spiritual power. Hey, now,
bright burns, if you will.
A couple months ago, that game came out, right? That Mortal Kombat game came out. I want you Edomites to go watch them clips, them different, you know, they call them fatalities. I want you to go back and watch those different fatalities of them, you know, individuals in them games, man. That's the type of shit that we're gonna be doing to you Edomites, man. That's the type of we're gonna be doing fatalities on you fucking Edomites, man. Straight up. And we're gonna be, man, whoo, you Edomites don't even know, man.
Drastic choices as well.
I'm excited to see this. Let's take a pause really quick and see what's going on here. It's waiting. Okay. So I guess we're cleaning the surface. The surface is the tan. How excited are you on a level 0 to 10? 90%? That's all I needed. It was just a quick check. Okay, so how far away do you think we are from everything that you're
perspective, I do think for younger generations, this is definitely a way forward. There's been a lot of testing of implants, both for the medical side, but also for information-based and data implants. Many different materials can be used: gold, silver, platinum, uranium, and in different parts of the body. This has been happening for quite a while now, and we have some quite strong pioneers who experimented with it from the 80s onwards.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we're ready to move.
So Edgar is going to be putting some digital bling onto himself right now. Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. Does anybody have any questions about what's happening right now? On a very simple level while we're waiting for this to happen.
My question is really what is the functionality of this chip and also for how long is it going to have it there?
So for how long he's going to have it in there is however long he decides to have it, but what's good about it is that it's simple to take out. It's just one little crank and you can take it out. So it can be in there for, I think it's like 5 or something more years. It depends on the type of manufacturer, but they all have a coating that's biocompatible. Again, as I said, the functionality of this specific chip is not the most complex in the entire world. It's just a normal NFC chip from like a credit card set. So actually this is, I'll just keep walking over here to see what's happening. Okay, so I'm going to be like David Attenborough as I kind of dictate where narrate what's going on. The area has been marked with what seems to be a marker. Super, technical level. Let's talk about something while this is happening because I'm getting super excited about this. Oh, should we do another question? Sorry. Yeah, why not? Let's go for it, and then we'll keep talking. I'm curious, what data are you going to put on this? I'm sorry? What's the data that this gentleman's going to put on?
So you see what's going on, though. Apostle Tahar had declared this to be the year Karagma, the year that Esau really pushes the chip, and here it is. So again, you expect to see more of these seminars. And hey, if you do go to live events every once in a while, because hey man, we may live in this world, but we're not part of this world. But at the same time, though, you might like to go to movies or might go to certain live events, man. These live events you're going to expect to see more police there. It's total police state. There's a whole code of conduct thing. Almost everything's like going to the airport, though. And that's what this Real ID system's all about, though. It's the beginning steps of the Mark of the Beast, pretty much, though, that you ain't going to be able to even get into these live events or other things that you enjoy doing. You ain't going to be able to do shit unless you have the Mark of the Beast, the RFID. So pretty much, though, if you're thinking, and this is a big reason why the car fire happened, as well as the other places, if you're thinking about trying to escape your cities, which, the Most High has to be with you, but they burned down all the trees and all that, so it's very hard to hide from their surveillance systems, Nonetheless, though, you listen to the smoothness of that you can take it out. You know that that's a lie. Once you have it in you, you cannot take it out. And I wouldn't even be fucking with that. You know that the military is chipped. So pretty much, though, people decide their own fate of what they want to do. And like everything else, though, was also to target crops, and that's what's happening here, especially in the Golan Heights and just pretty much, again, these storms, you know what HAARP is. It's no longer a conspiracy theory. We've shown you tons of proof that HAARP actually exists. This was all to bring in the famine so that way they could bring in the ultimate goal, which is to have everyone chipped and have everything on them chips. This is for the Syrian Arab News Agency. Targeted with tens of terrorist rockets, Karno's town in Hama countryside is steadfast, adhering to life. So this is a little bit afterward. Terrorist groups perpetuate acts of terrorism against safe local in the villages of Hama countryside, generally in Karno's town, adjacent to the areas where Jabhat al-Nusra terrorists are positioned, in particular, in where which they targeted with rockets agricultural fields, wheat and barley fields, and locals and houses, resulting in the burning and destruction of thousands of tons of these fields in the past few days. So why are they targeting that? Because they want to bring GMOs into Syria, especially in the areas that are run by the Syrian Democratic Forces. And of course, Gomer is helping with that, because we know that the Hama Idlib countryside is run by Gomer and all his bands, and then you know, pretty much you do have a war, a proxy war between Turkey and Syria. The terrorist groups have been launching recurrent rocket attacks on tractors and combine harvesters in an attempt to prevent the Karnos farmers using their agricultural vehicles to harvest the remaining crops, in addition to the daily and violent shelling the houses and utility facilities, including schools, electricity, and phone networks. So that's what's going on in Syria, as it's going on over here, as you know what the Midwest actually looks like after them storms. And so you know as well as I do that you got people within our, you know, that are out there that'll say, oh, well, I can just get it in my left, you know, or I'll get it over here, or on my ass, or whatever, right? And man, they don't fear Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, you know, and these are reprobates anyways, but nonetheless, though, you know, it leads me to here. Revelation chapter 14, starting verse 6. You know, because none of these people are going to get on them chariots. No. And they're thinking that they're going to have a ride on the chariots because, oh, they know that they're an Israelite. And, oh, well, they don't have in their right hand or in their forehead. But this is what's going to happen. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. And that's what's happening now. There's a gathering of us from the four quarters of the earth that are coming out with these signs and are actually teaching on the streets. You know, because I say this much. If you can't even cut it as a prophet, how are you going to achieve the next level, which is to be the judges of the earth, a.k.a. Brightburns, right? So you have to cut it as a prophet. So we're prophesying this. And we're also, you know, this is pretty much... we're telling everybody, saying with a loud voice, fear Yahweh and give glory unto him. For the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. We're telling you, no, he's not Jesus Christ. No, his name is not God. No, it's not Yahweh. No, it's not Yahuwah or Yahusha or any of those other names. That his name is, in fact, Yahweh. And his son's name is Yahweh Shai. And we're coming out with a loud voice saying that as we go out in the streets, we proclaim this. And we're telling you that this place is fallen. Check this out. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, because she made all the nations of the drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And we are constantly coming against Babylon the Great. We're prophesying against Babylon the Great. And we're telling you that the mirth of this land, everything is fallen, man. This place is fucking done. You know, the only thing that's waiting now is for this place to be destroyed completely. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Okay? So, oh, wait a minute. Did this say right hand? Did it say anything else? It just said, or in his hand. So that includes the left hand now, doesn't it? Think about that. You know, for those that like to be a smart ass, you know, about it and think, oh, well, I'll just get it over here. Man, don't tempt the Most High. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb. That is, when these chariots come and the nuclear missiles hit this place. And the smoke of the torment is sended up forever and ever. And they shall have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. You know, and there are many that have already received the mark of his name, you know, pretty much, you know, that are all totally on board with everything he's doing, man. You know, you got 2/3 of our people serving the military with microchips in their right hand. You got 2/3 of our people going out there with Esau, you know, to spread terrorism, to spread lies. You know, and them witches and demons, man, you got jakes that are doing it too. They're joined unto Esau, you know. And this is for us, verse 12. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahweh Shai. You know, that ain't going to do this, that are not going to take the microchip, that are willing to endure to the very end. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Right blessed are the dead which die in the Most High, from henceforth, yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. A lot of us are going to have to die for that, you know, but here it is, though. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud. And, of course, it's talking about the very large ship. And upon the clouds sat one, like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. You know, and this is when Yahweh Shai judges the place. Another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in the sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So in other words, this is when Yahweh Shai judges everyone that took the mark of the beast, and that pretty much, you know, is on board with Esau and what he's doing. That loves America, doesn't want to leave it, you know, has that America love it or leave it spirit. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in the sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven. He also had a sharp sickle. So you can see, though, that Yahweh Shai and the angels, which, you know, you've been programmed from day one to fight the Most High and the angels. They showed you that in video games. That's what Atari 2600 and all the other ones were that you grew up on, you know, or if you grew up afterwards, Nintendo games. That's why they have so many of them alien games, to shoot at them chariots, because Esau believes he could actually win a war against the Most High. That's why the military put out those games. Another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven. He also had a sharp sickle. Another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud voice to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. So in other words, pretty much, man, it's a done deal at this point. And the angel thrust in the sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of the Most High. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the house bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. So again, you know, this is when the earth gets judged, which a big portion of this is Babylon the Great. So, like everything else, man, don't take that mark. Esau's pushing it big time. Just like Apostle Tahar said, that this would be the year that Esau pushes it. And as I was out of town a couple of days ago, you know, because obviously Chico doesn't have a prophet, so the first time doing a Chico camp, you know, I was prophesying the same thing. Well, that's the spirit, because they were too. You know, that pretty much, though, even though we know this, but, man, you know, we're telling our people, man, there's, you know, as well as, you know, the wicked, you know, which, there is no such thing as so-called white Jesus, that, that shit's made up, you know, and that, who it really is Caesar Borgia, you know, and that's a false image, you know, and just pretty much like I had mentioned in the good times. Well, this is similar to what the Spirit is, doing, man. This is out here, I believe this is LA camp.
In Egypt, or not Egypt, being the spiritual Sodom in Egypt. That's right. You know what I'm saying? So Egypt is correlated with Babylon. That's right. Because that's what confusion means. That's right. That's right. Confusion means mixed together. You know what I'm saying? You know, con and fuse. That's right. It means mixed with you, right, bro? And like the brother's saying, that's why it's called Babylon the Great, which Babylon means confusion. And what was it? I think you brought it up in the car, bro, about the gay flag pride. The gay. Oh yeah. What they were trying to do? They were the Senate or whoever it was trying to raise. It's Gay Pride Month here in the U.S. right now. Damn. So the Senate was trying to have gay
actually shut it down. Because that's what got to the top of everything to do. Priority list. It was to raise gay flags throughout every embassy that the U.S. has, and the U.S. has over 300 embassies.
Yeah. And bro, and to say the least, man, that wouldn't have made a fucking difference if they did it or didn't do it, man. Because this land is already Sodom. You got people, human beings, changing their sex. Okay? Changing their sex.
Fucking foul as that.
And niggas out there who don't got the spirit, and the angels protecting them, they running right, they lusting after these motherfuckers, man. You know? Yeah. This is Sodom and Egypt, man. You know, and that would have just been an addition to the, to the whole concept if there was to raise the flag, the gay pride flag, or whatever the case is. And like we were saying, it's to the point in this society where there's no point in trying to even use logic as to why they would do that. Cause this is fucking Babylon.
It's not logical.
Like it's it's a waste of time sitting there. Why would they do that?
There's no logic.
The reason why they do that is because they're the devil. Yeah. And this is Sodom and Egypt.
That's giving it to the hands of the wicked.
Brother, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. That's why they'll do it, man.
They got a scripture for that.
How would it do things?
You got the scripture?
I had a scripture real quick. Just on that point, real quick. All right. This is Sirach. Give me a second. Sirach chapter 19, verse 23. All right. It says, "There is a wickedness in the same, an abomination." All right, and that's what? That's the so-called white man ruling the world. All right, and it says, "And there is a fool wanting in wisdom," man. So there you have it. The so-called white man, he hasn't been given. All right. Well, he doesn't deal with the wisdom of the Bible. He deals with wickedness, man.
That's right.
That's right, bro. So that's the reason.
This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 8, and it says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city."
The dead bodies. The dead bodies talking about the Israelites. These people right here. These are the dead bodies. You can read Ezekiel 37 chapter. Read the whole chapter. That's talking about the valley of the dry bones. All right. It's talking about the great city. This is the valley of dry bones. All right. America is the valley of dry bones. All right. This is where we came and lost our heritage as a nation. All right. This is where our bones got dried up at, man. And a dry bone is what? A dead body, a skeleton. All right. A skeleton is what? A dead body. The remains of a dead body. Now, Israel was once a whole body, but once Israel forgot their identity and knowledge, the wisdom and understanding of scriptures, of their power, they became a dead body. All right, so that's Ezekiel 37 chapter, and the scripture says that their dead bodies, spiritually dead bodies,
shall lie in the street of the great city.
The great city is none other than America. All right. Now you have the Bible. The Bible is a history book. The Bible talks about all great empires and kingdoms that once stood on this planet Earth. Why would America not be mentioned in the Bible as one of these great empires? All right. America is the one empire that overshadows all of these empires that ever came about. All right. America has a mix of all of these different empires, the customs, the ways, the tradition.
Yeah, the melting pot.
It's a giant melting pot. This is that place. This is that great city. This is the great city that the Bible is talking about. The great city Babylon. Okay? That's exactly what it is. It's a combination of all the kingdoms in one. Philosophy, number one. Spiritually, all these people are headed back again today in this kingdom.
It says in the scripture,
It says, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
It's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. What other city on this planet Earth promotes homosexuality more than America does? What other kingdom, what other country, continent, whatever, you name it, promotes homosexuality more than this country does? The answer is none. Every other country would either stone you, they'll persecute you, they'll penalize you, they'll do anything against your favor of being a homosexual to bring some type of punishment against you, all right, for that act of sodomy.
That's right.
All right? But America is the number one place that promotes this, filthy, vile act. And not only that, it spreads its democracy, all right, and its ways throughout the four corners of the earth. That's why the scripture said that the nations are going to hate the whore. All right? For many reasons. For many reasons. That homosexual shit is one of them.
And it says, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also
crucified. So it's saying three things. Now you gotta factor in those three things and try to figure out, all right, so what's that talking about? Get the sign of Caesar real quick, all right? It says where also our Lord was crucified, right? Now, when you read the revelation of Yahweh Shah, all right, the book of Revelation, the first chapter, it tells you the description of what our Lord looked like. All right? Get that real quick, man. Revelation, the first chapter. Just get the, what our Lord looked like, man. All right? Because we established that America is Egypt, spiritually. America is Sodom, spiritually. Now, what does it mean where also our Lord was crucified? Go ahead. Read on. Yeah, go ahead.
Revelation 1 and 13. And in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
Now, this is the description of his apparel, okay? What he's wearing. He has a garment down to his foot. He has a girdle around his waist. All right, go ahead.
His head and his hair were white like wool.
Right, so his head, all right, the hairs on his head, the hairs on the Lord, who the world called Jesus Christ, is talking about his hair texture. Now, scriptures say is white like wool, okay? White is a simile, okay? Wool is a simile, comparing the texture and the color to wool, because wool is both woolly, is both texturized, and is both white. Same thing with his hair. His facial hair, his beard, his mustache, his afro. You know, go ahead.
His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow.
White as snow, pure white. All right, go ahead.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
His eyes were a flame of fire. The whites of his eyes were red. All right, you can see that amongst a lot of Jakes, man. You got Jakes with some red eyes. The whites of the eyes red. Some of them 24/7. My pop's red eyes was always red. You know, for other reasons. Okay?
And his feet like unto fine brass.
And his feet like unto fine brass. Meaning what? His feet was dark. Because you got the color brass. Brass is a dark color. It's a variation of brown. It's a metal. It's a brown metal. Now, it's comparing his feet like fine brass. But go ahead, there's more.
As if they burned in a furnace.
As if it burned in a furnace. Now, you take fine brass and you burn it in a furnace, it's going to get browner. Okay? It's going to get a real dark brown in color, man. And that's the description of what his foot looked like, man. Now, if it's talking about his foot, because John's seen his foot, all right? He's seen what his feet look like, man. All right? Now, if he's seen his foot, his arms have to be the same color. His hands, his face, his whole body, man. He was a melanated man. All right? That's the description of what our Lord looked like, guys.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters.
And his voice as the sound of many water. Now, what Esau did was he took that description and he X'd it out. He crossed it out. He crucified that, because a crucifix is a cross. All right, a crucifix is an X. All right, when you say, when you look at a crucifix, it's an X. It's just an X, shifted up a little vertically. Okay, that's what a crucifix is. That is a cross. All right, so when you cross something now, you crucifix it. Yeah, you cancel it out. That cancels it. Yeah, exactly. If I say, all right, if I make the mistake of the application, I could say, listen, crucify what I just did over there. That means you got to cross it out. I can use that term if I wanted to. All right? Now, that's how our Lord was crossed out. That's how he was crucified. By this image right here. All right, this devil right here, man. I wish there was some devil worshiping people around right now, man, who worship this image, man. All right, so they can hear the truth about this damn pale-faced cracker. Probably ain't too far. All right?
Say one thing about that.
Yeah.
And if you see how you know the people is really supplanted, or a lot of people, you so caught up in that image that you don't care about the truth, is because you ask certain people who has woolly hair. That question alone tells you a lot about somebody. You gotta ask them who has woolly hair. They will not admit that so-called Negroes have woolly hair.
You gotta ask them the question before you bring the scripture out.
Yeah. Who on the earth got woolly hair? I guess they'll never answer it. But now you look at the Clippers and how they share what is it? Share sheep. Same thing. It's just like the barber clippers they use all our lives at the barber shop. That's how you get that wool. You can't cut our hair with no scissors. You can't give us no bowl cut like that. That's how you cut Edomite boy hair. That's how you cut Caesar boy hair with a scissor. That's all they need, scissors. Every time you look at them, they up in there just, that's what scissor hands used to do with the women and shit. But now, when you go to our barbers, ain't no scissors. That'll barely come out. It's all about that. And then you watch a sheep getting shed. It's the same thing. It sounds the same. It's the same cut, and the wool come off the head just like how our heads come off. And track. And it fall right to the ground. And you gotta sweep it up just like at the barber shop. Yeah, it sticks together. You can ball it up at the end to make one big woolly ball. Right? And it gives you that heat. So in the middle of the winter, your woolly your head, you got more wool. Good.
That's right. Hey, Esau, see what happened was a so-called white man. He had to put this image up. This was the only way to get us submissive in slavery. Because listen, if we knew that our power, if we knew that this is what our Lord looked like, during the time of slavery, if we knew that this is what our Lord looked like, we would rebel against the so-called white man. We'd be like, nigga, why the fuck I'm listening to you? Right. The Bible you reading to me, the Lord look like this. Right. You tell your slave master kiss your ass, man, so you can understand, all right? But Esau had to do that. And Yahweh shot, see that image being crossed out. Matter of fact, somebody get Job 9:24 and also get Jeremiah 17. All right, get that real quick too, because it had to happen that way, man. Because us forgetting our identity was us, it was also Israelites believing that the so-called white man, the devil, was so-called Jesus Christ. That's all part of the whole kit, man. What you got? Get that first.
This is Job 9:24. It says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked.
Right, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, meaning that the person who's ruling the earth are the wicked. Who's ruling the earth? The so-called white man. That's not a mystery, man. You ask somebody that question, they'll beat around the bush. They'll beat around the whole fucking bush 24 hours straight, man. Trying to give you some wild, see, I don't know, because, the Persians nigga, I ain't asked you about the Persians, man. I asked you who's ruling the earth. Simple ass question. But you know what? People do that because they know the answer already, right? So they got caught off guard, and now they try to tap dance and find a logical explanation. So damn, what can I tell this guy? But hey, when somebody give you that response, that means they know that the so-called white man is the devil. They know that.
There's a saying. There's a saying that when I was growing up, my parents always tell me it's a white man's world. So you gotta know how to act around it.
Yeah, bro.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindereth.
And who's that talking about? The so-called white man. Yeah. Look at how he ruled. First of all, he ruled the nations in anger. Starting with the Israelites, he ruled us in anger. Matter of fact, I was listening to a clip. That was going into buck breaking, man. Now that is just the wickedest shit anybody on the planet Earth can do. All right, now that's what Esau did, man. Esau humiliated an Israelite man to strike fear in the hearts of other Israelites by raping the man by force, having him held down, all right, and sodomized him in front of his family, in front of his friends, children, whatever. Why? So that the other slaves could say, oh, that's not gonna happen to me. I'm gonna listen to master. That's ruling in anger. That's ruling. That's what the brother just read, man. And the so-called white man is gonna pay for that, man. Huh? Yeah, they'll go, like you said, raping festival. A raping festival, exactly. Yeah, brother. Why you surprised, bro?
Invite the other slave masters come over and come in on the fun.
Yeah, and they would come over and join in on the fun. The niggas tied down to a tree stump, getting raped by slave masters, man.
Yeah, I'm raping my butt tonight.
So-called white man gotta pay, man. That's not the devil. This happened. I'm not making this shit vocab. What the fuck you gotta say about that? Your fellow nation of people were raping Israelite men, and glorifying them, man. Damn,
In the name of Christianity.
In the name of Christianity, with the Bible. And then next day, man, listen, bro.
This is Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the face
started with our Lord. He started with the images of our Lord, man. All right? Because that's where the power was at, you know? And then you have the prophets, the martyrs, all right, the saints, you know, which are all the same thing. You know, there was images left back, actual images of what they actually look like. And the so-called white man went and defaced them and went and whitewashed them. Okay? In other words, he took the pigment off these images and made them look either pale or pink. You know, and that's what he got, you know, lingering around the cathedrals in Europe and in certain parts out here. You know? It's a bad poster. You know? Undeniable. And a lot of these, man, see, these are images from the Dark Ages, man. I see you have like, these are mostly images from the Dark Ages. We ruled during the Dark Ages, man. That's why Esau don't have much to say about the Dark Ages, because I remember vividly back in high school when I just remember in class somehow some shit was said that, yeah, they called it the Dark Ages because there's not much history during that time. That's what a fucking teacher told me, man. Dull moment in history. Yeah, it was a dull moment. That's exactly. It was a dull moment in history. Like, what the fuck does that mean? So what do you mean it was a dull moment in history? You know? Listen. And we were taught to believe that shit. Like, damn, niggas are shitting in the streets. No candles, no lights. Fuck the dark. Everybody was savages.
Yeah, you're taking the Regents test, you're like, yeah, I know that one, for sure. You're writing the Regents, whether it's global history or something, you get to that shit, you're like, oh, I guess, what does Dark Ages mean? You writing a whole essay, because everybody was all, when you really get to know the truth about it, yeah, there was no science, there was no mathematics, and everybody was scratching their heads and shit.
Yeah. Man, that was the peak of the modern day world as we know it, man. All right, the Dark Ages influenced this modern day world as we know it, man. You know, especially honestly, in wicked ways too. In wicked ways too, such as religion, Christianity, and Catholicism. We started that, man. Ain't nothing righteous about it, but Israel, that's why we have to go back down. Because we started going the hell off, man. Every time Israel became something and started going off, the Most High took us right back out of power, man. You know, we had something going, you know, early in the, which really wasn't really no high peak of righteousness during that time. But Jacob was just going off, man. Jacob was going off. That was the beginning of our downfall, man. You know?
The kings of the Dark Ages had something called prima nocte, right? Which basically meant that the king was allowed to have sex with your wife first. It stands for first night, prima nocte, first night. You want to go into that?
I can't remember. Maybe I did.
But that's some Dark Ages history. The wicked side of Jake.
It was nothing righteous about that.
Well, you had, in other words, it was always like a caste system. Like if you had knights, you had lords, you had serfs too. If you were serf, you at the bottom. You had certain nobles here. Then you had the church, and you had the king. But if you were a higher nobleman, say you were a knight, and you got a serf that got married to a serf broad, right? But she's fine as hell. Under the right of the king, this dude could execute his right of prima nocte to sleep with your wife on your wedding night before you even get a chance to pop it. When you watch Braveheart, they show you that. You know, William Wallace and Robert the Bruce, those wasn't no made-up characters, man. Those guys were real men, okay, that fought for freedom against the crowns of England and whatnot. And really, when you go into King James, who is the author of this Bible here, okay, not the author, but the how you call it? The commission of the put together the Bible in 1611. He actually goes back to the line of Robert the Bruce, and they were all black.
went out of power there first. All right, it was a transition. It didn't just happen overnight. You know, but over a period of time, we started going down in power in Europe, man. All right, over there, on this side of the earth, the Western Hemisphere, Esau came with full wrath, man. All right, brought Gad, he came, took Gad down, started taking down the Northern Kingdom, started taking some of the Northern Kingdom, you know, to Europe, etc., along with the voyage bringing back so-called African Americans, as you would call the Southern Kingdom, to the Northern Hemisphere, man. You know, that's the beginning of this whole transatlantic slave trade. Us going out of power, us discontinuing from our heritage. It all goes back to that. It goes back to us, you know, disobeying the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father at the end of the day.
This is Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from that heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
That's right. And, you know, we did what? We disobeyed the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. That's why we went in. That's why we undergoing all these punishments, man. You know, that's why we going through what we go through. And forever doesn't mean forever. It just means a long period of time, because the Lord says that his mercy, all right, is everlasting towards the Israelites, man. You know, so our punishment is over. What's that, Lamentations 4:21? Our punishment is almost over. So forever is not talking about forever. Accomplished, you know, which it is accomplished. You know, we have the time, man. That's why the chip got to come out, man. That's why for you niggas out here, you know, that's trying, you know, talking about the RFID chip ain't this, ain't that. That's just trying to distort prophecy, but you can't do that. You, in your mind, you're like trying to delay the prophecy, man. You're trying to delay the kingdom. That's what you do. You delay the kingdom because these things got to happen. For our punishment to be over, the chip got to be made mandatory. Famine got to come. Plagues, pestilence. Martial law got to be declared. All right? Race wars got to happen. And ultimately, the missiles got to be shot off for us to receive salvation, man. That got to happen.
There's only one reason why somebody would want to delay the prophecies, because they love it.
Yeah, exactly. They love it. That's it. You know? Niggas don't want to leave Babylon, just like niggas didn't want to leave Egypt, man. They're here again.
This is Isaiah 30:8. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come, forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people.
Forever and ever. Even to these times. When it was written, when that scripture was written, man, it was even written more so for this time that we living in now. Israel is a rebellion. Israel has never been so rebellious in any point in history as they are now. Alright, because this is the one time they forgot that they were Israelites. Alright, the one land where Israelites forgot they were Israelites, and here you tell them that they're Israelites, and a nigga will rebel to the death. A nigga will take a bullet to the head before he admit he's Israelite, man. Yeah?
Lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, would say to the seers, see not.
The prophets, see is the prophets. You know, see a prophet. In other words, they're saying, don't prophesy. You know? Yeah.
And to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things.
Now, these niggas, alright, because that's what they are, niggas and niggerettes, they don't want to hear the prophecies of the Heavenly Father. They want to hear smooth things. Now, if we was out here telling people that niggas gonna get rich, if we out here just telling them, yo, you're gonna get rich, you know, just believe, and you're gonna get rich, yo, we have people up here dropping all types of donations and saying, God bless you, have a good day, and all the other shit, man. But we out here letting people know the exact opposite. Destruction is coming, your beloved money, your dollar's about to collapse, so they hate us. But that's fine, because we prophesying what's actually gonna take place. We're not prophesying a false vision. To tell you that prosperity is coming to America, that'll make us false prophets. Alright, now you have Israelites that do teach prosperity, because if you teach you to get married and doing this and doing that, establish a business, which ain't no wrong with establishing businesses, but if that's your focal point for your congregation, then your focus, you're a false prophet. Alright? Point blank period. Call us what you want. You know, and you're a false prophet, because there's no hope for America, man. You gotta teach your congregation to get your mind right first. You know, get right with Yahweh outside. You know, lock into these prophecies, and then live off your daily bread, nigga. You know, make your money, whatever. But the word come first. You know, ain't no prosperity Israelites up here, man. Alright? Yeah, bro.
It says, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits.
Prophesy deceits. Now, people really want to hear deceits. You know, that's those 2/3 blue pills, man.
Wait, listen. It says,
back, man. Who's the Holy One in Israel? Yahushua. Cease him. I mean, to stop him. Yeah? They don't want Yahushua to come back, man. You got Israelites that are actually Israelites who call themselves Hebrew Israelites who really don't desire Yahushua to come back. That's why some of them just wouldn't watch our videos, man. Because that's all they're gonna hear. That's all they're gonna hear. Yahushua's come back to destroy America. You know, certain things are gonna happen. That's all they're gonna hear. So they turn us off, which is fine. I don't got a problem with that. They turn us off and go watch some Hebrew Edomite crackhead couple get slithered by the sword of the Lord videos. You know what I'm saying? Go watch some shit like that real quick, man. You know? Yeah, man.
It says, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression, perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant.
That's right, because what? Our people, Israel, you know, their iniquity is abounding in them so much that they're gonna reap their iniquity, man. 2/3 are gonna reap their iniquity. That's why Jacob's trouble is gonna happen. Jacob's trouble is gonna happen. That's a judgment from the Most High. Now we teach that Esau, of course, Esau is gonna come down with great wrath, but ultimately the Most High is gonna do that, man. The Most High is making that happen. You know, to destroy the undesirables of our nation. You know?
That's precept.
Yeah, bro.
This is Song of Three Holy Children, verse 5. And all the things thou hast brought upon us, and upon the holy city of our fathers, even Jerusalem, thou hast executed true judgment. For according to truth and just judgment, didst thou bring all these things upon us for our sins. For we have sinned and committed iniquity, departed from you. In all things have we trespassed, and not obeyed thy commandments, nor kept them, neither done as thou hast commanded us, that it might go well with us. Wherefore, all that thou hast brought upon us, and everything that thou hast done to us, thou hast done in true judgment.
Yeah, that's plain, man. That's plain. Everything that came upon Israel was well deserved. The Most High is a just power, and He deals with balance. That's why